If you look at level 1, you can see it's the slowest. We have want to. It is said exactly the way it's written. If we speak a little faster, you can see level 2. There's a change. The vowel oo has become a. So instead of want to, we get wanta. They want to do it. If we go to the fastest, which is level 3, you'll see that we now have wanna. We have 2 pronunciation changes. Number 1, the oo changed to a, and number 2, the T sound is gone. Which level is the most common or the most popular? In my research, I found that in 7 hours, native speakers only used level 1 8 times. In the same 7 hours, they used level 2 47 times. And how many times do you think they used level 3 in 7 hours? 258 times. These are reduced forms. The fastest pronunciation is also the most common.
Thank you very much. Oh, George, how young we were. Like the students here watching us tonight. And I think that, and like George, at the last moment I was told to come up here and say a few words, so I didn't really prepare anything at home the night before, so let me just talk a little bit about something I said, when a journalist asked me years ago a question I really couldn't answer. They said, what do you do? Why do you do this? And I don't know where it came from, but I sort of turned to the journalist in a flip kind of way. I said, I dream for a living. Years later, I realized, well, that's exactly what I do. I dream for a living. This is what I've done all my life. This is what I wanted to do with my life. And yet, I never really had a career plan. We all have plans. We all make plans. It sometimes starts when you have to declare a major. And I, of course, was at a college that didn't have the major that I would have declared, which was film and television. So I was an undeclared major. I majored in English because my father told me I needed a fallback career in case the movie directing thing didn't work out. And he said that if you major in English, you can teach. And teaching is a noble profession, something that I have come to understand is maybe the noblest profession in the world today. Teachers perhaps are also the most underpaid heroes in the world today. But as noble as it seemed to be, I wanted to be a movie director. And I thought I'd share with you how it all started. Everything I'm about to tell you happened completely by accident. And I think it all started out when I was maybe 6 or 7 years old. And my father came over to me and said, I'm going to take you to see the greatest show on earth. And when you promise a 6, 7, 8-year-old young boy that you're about to see the greatest show on earth, I couldn't have been more excited. My father explained there were going to be lion tamers and circus acts. There were going to be clowns and trapeze artists. And I was absolutely delighted, and I looked forward to this for a week.
This program is brought to you by Stanford University. please visit us at stanford.edu.
Thank you. I'm honored to be with you today for your commencement from one of the finest universities in the world. Truth be told, I never graduated from college, and this is the closest I've ever gotten to a college graduation. Today, I want to tell you 3 stories from my life. That's it. No big deal. Just 3 stories. The first story is about connecting the dots. I dropped out of Reed College after the first 6 months, but then stayed around as a drop-in for another 18 months or so before I really quit. So why'd I drop out? It started before I was born. My biological mother was a young, unwed graduate student, and she decided to put me up for adoption. She felt very strongly that I should be adopted by college graduates, so everything was all set for me to be adopted at birth by a lawyer and his wife. Except that when I popped out, they decided at the last minute that they really wanted a girl. So my parents, who were on a waiting list, got a call in the middle of the night asking, "We've got an unexpected baby boy. Do you want him?" They said, "Of course." My biological mother found out later that my mother had never graduated from college and that my father had never graduated from high school. She refused to sign the final adoption papers. She only relented a few months later when my parents promised that I would go to college. This was the start in my life. And 17 years later, I did go to college. But I naively chose a college that was almost as expensive as Stanford. And all of my working class parents' savings were being spent on my college tuition. After 6 months, I couldn't see the value in it. I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life, and no idea how college was going to help me figure it out. And here I was, spending all of the money my parents had saved their entire life. So I decided to drop out and trust that it would all work out okay. It was pretty scary at the time, but looking back, it was one of the best decisions I ever made. The minute I dropped out, I could stop taking the required classes that didn't interest me and begin dropping in on the ones that looked far more interesting. It wasn't all romantic. I didn't have a dorm room, so I slept on the floor in friends' rooms. I returned Coke bottles for the 5-cent deposits to buy food with. And I would walk the 7 miles across town every Sunday night to get one good meal a week at the Hare Krishna temple. I loved it. And much of what I stumbled into by following my curiosity and intuition turned out to be priceless later on. Let me give you one example. Reed College at that time offered perhaps the best calligraphy instruction in the country. Throughout the campus, every poster, every label on every drawer was beautifully hand calligraphed. Because I had dropped out and didn't have to take the normal classes, I decided to take a calligraphy class to learn how to do this. I learned about serif and sans serif typefaces, about varying the amount of space between different letter combinations, about what makes great typography great. It was beautiful, historical, artistically subtle in a way that science can't capture, and I found it fascinating. None of this had even a hope of any practical application in my life. But 10 years later, when we were designing the first Macintosh computer, it all came back to me. And we designed it all into the Mac. It was the first computer with beautiful typography. If I had never dropped in on that single course in college, the Mac would have never had multiple typefaces or proportionally spaced fonts. And since Windows just copied the Mac, it's likely that no personal computer would have them.
Hi, everyone. Now, here's a question that I get often. People ask, what about British English? Do people use these special pronunciations, these reduced forms, in British English? Yes, they do. This is an interview with Prince William of England on fatherhood. Please notice every time he uses a reduced form. We're going to listen to this, and I'm going to highlight and show you the reduced forms that he uses. So please enjoy this.
I think more shock and dauntingness was more of the feeling I felt. But it was, the thing is, it's, I think I was on such a high anyway, and so was Catherine, about George, that really we were happy to show him off to whoever wanted to see him. As any new parent knows, you're only too happy to show off your new child and, you know, proclaim that he's the best looking or the best everything.
There's the baby, the new royal heir in the United Kingdom. You were comfortable there?
Yeah, I felt, again, it's not somewhere I enjoy being, but I know that in the position I'm in, that's what's required of me to do. And I think it's, you know, it's one of those things, and you know, it's nice that people want to see George. So, you know, I'm just glad he wasn't screaming his head off the whole way through.
That moment when he came out with the car seat, I mean, we had some warning that you might be doing that.
Yeah.
Fathers around the planet will be cursing you for doing it so easily. So sweet.
Believe me, it wasn't my first time, and I know there's been speculation about that. I had to practice, I really did. I was terrified that I was going to do some, you know, it was going to fall off, or the door wasn't going to close properly, so I had actually practiced with that seat, but only once before.
And your decision to drive off, I remember that moment as well. That was the most nerve-wracking thing for me, having my family in the car. But that was something that you were clearly determined to do.
Where I can be, I'm as independent as I want to be, and same as Catherine and Harry. We've all grown up, you know, differently to our other generations, and I very much feel if I can do it myself, I want to do it myself. And there are times when you can't do it yourself, and
I've got a bit of a bone to pick with you, man. Yeah, you're talking a bit of smack last week about Vegemite. Have we got any Aussies here? Any Aussies?
Yeah, we have some Australian. Any Aussies here? Yeah, two of them. They're very quiet.
Yeah.
No, I tried Vegemite, for the first time,
And you didn't really dig it?
Well, I feel like it's missing a few ingredients or something.
like
I don't know. It's just
chocolate.
something's off. I don't know what it was
it's
like.
not. I'll tell you what's off. Because I did see it. Someone showed me a tape.
Yeah.
You didn't eat it in the right way, man. Vegemite, you can't just, it's not like Nutella, you can't scoop it on. It's just refined, just a little bit. In fact, I want to show you how to do it.
Right, here we go.
No, because, come on, mate, we're mates. And so, you've got to have it on toast first thing in the morning. If you want to be Australia, if you're going to go to Australia, this is what you've got to do. This is my public service announcement for Australia. You've got to get, like, the crappiest bread possible.
It doesn't matter what.
It's got to be white, it's got to be fluffy, and it has to be just this soft, like 6 months ago on the shelf, right?
It doesn't change because
it never changes.
True. It never gets hard. Yeah.
Anyway, listen, I'm going to show you. This is going to take a little while, but let's just chat.
Do you remember these guys last time we were on the show?
Yes.
We put these wigs on. And we were joking around.
Just get a little whiff of that.
Good gosh.
There's nothing like...
That is correct.
I just love the label.
That's a good slogan. There's nothing like Vegemite.
Vegemite. Yeast extract. I mean, it gets you salivating, doesn't it?
Something like that,
Yeast extract. This is a real thing.
Bring up some memories, those guys with the mults, we had on these mults, and you were like, I want to see this on Taxi TV, right? I want to see it. And then it actually happened
on Taxi TV.
I jumped in the taxi, and we were on Taxi TV.
Exactly.
Wasn't that weird?
It was a great moment for me. Look at that.
Yeah, exactly.
Time.
It's like,
oh, perfect. Lightly, beautifully toned. Look at that.
Look at that. All right. This is a good toast.
Do you want to do some as well?
Sure, absolutely. Here. I'll try it. Now, what am I doing
Fancy
wrong?
butter knife.
All right.
All right,
what do we do?
Just a nice thin layer of butter. It's got to melt in. All right.
The butter has to melt in, so it has to be a hot
melt in.
Piece of toast. All right.
Yeah.
All right, there we go.
Perfect butter, not too hard.
Yeah, this is good. White bread, in quotes,
We've got a piece for everyone here.
Here we go. Everyone's good. Yeah. So that's there. And now
okay.
That's on there.
See this?
Yeah.
Maximum.
What?
Maximum Vegemite. No more than that. This is basically, it looks black and it looks kind of a, it's just salt. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It is beautiful yeast extract.
I mean, this is the best.
Direct from the outback of Australia.
I mean, all right, so this...
Just literally picked off of the gas
better than
station
what it had.
floor.
Yeah, so... All right, so
I'm
this
actually
is it.
salivating. Did you see that spit come out?
Yeah, you really are salivating.
Yeah.
Toast.
Cheers, toast.
To you, bro. Toast, yeah, literally, yeah.
Right?
Much better.
See?
Oh, I got to tell Higgins, that's like salt.
That's it.
Oh, it's fantastic. I got it. I really like it. Yeah, I got to try it. Here.
I saw you want a little bit. I saw that.
Yeah, no,
I'll try it. I'll try it.
Just try it, but be honest.
You don't want to try some? That's Vegemite. You're going to love it. You try some.
Sorry. You do?
What do you think?
I like it.
Yeah, it's pretty good, right?
It's
yeah.
good.
Oh, that's a good review right there. Oh, snap.
Now.
Oh, snap, I like it.
Yeah.
Oh, snap, I like it.
Listen to the interview. You may listen as many times as you need to. Listen.
People come to the United States for a lot of reasons. Why did your father leave Mexico to come here?
My grandfather was working a mining town in the mountains of Durango, a little place called Dynamite, and they would mine for dynamite. He worked in the mines. At that time, Pancho Villa was roaming the country, and even groups, I think, that were not Pancho Villas were claiming to be. They would invade the camps, rape the women, rob from everyone. And my grandparents were very afraid of any harm to their family and themselves, so they grabbed everything they could get and carry and jumped on a train. And at that time, the United States government was paying the way of the Mexican migrant farmer to come to the San Joaquin Valley and harvest the crops. They needed workers. They needed somebody to pick all the fruit that there was to be picked.
Mm-hmm. Okay, because your parents were migrant farm workers, your family had to go from city to city looking for work. How did that affect you?
Thinking back, I can recall it was a way of life, and almost everybody did it. All my uncles and aunts, they were right along there with us in most cases, and so we would play with our cousins, and, well, we did it when I was very young, but once I got to school age, we no longer did that. But prior to that, for the first 5 years of my life, I can recall having dirt floors for our home at the time because they would pitch tents in these little communities, or in these farm camps as we went up and down the San Joaquin Valley. It was a way of life. And if you have any carryover, I think it was a great lesson, and you do whatever it takes to survive.